Hello everybody, welcome to Miss Keswick class. Today we are going to be learning how to make our frontal illusion wig using closure, and my name is Keswick and I'm your instructor. As you can see, my cap is on my mannequin and this is how I put it on, and this is the weave on I'm using. I love this weave on. It's really coily and really long, and I'll be using closure with it. So I got the same hair and the same closure. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was I placed my closure on my cap, and you can see that I'm putting it at the middle of the cap, and this time you want to make sure that the beginning of the closure is at the beginning of the cap, like I just showed you guys now. And then I'm going to start sewing from the middle. It's very important you sew from the middle to the front, then come back and sew from the other side to the end. So every time I sew, I make sure I tie this 2 times, because you want to secure your thread and you want to make sure it's as firm as possible. So I'm going to be sewing it from the middle all the way to the end, okay? And like I said, you want to make sure you are tying this really well, and you want to make sure you drag the closure. You don't want it folding, you don't want it kind of rough. You want to drag it as much as possible. You want it to be well laid, because if you don't drag it, by the time you put on this wig, the closure is going to start folding at the top, and that will not look nice at all. So you want to make sure that you lay it firmly and you drag it as much as possible. You can see I'm trying to hold it down because I want to make sure it's well laid on the cap. So once I'm done with this side, I'm going to turn my mannequin over, and then I'll start sewing the other side. That's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to sew the other side, and it's still the same way. I'm going to sew all the way to the other end. So we are pretty much doing the same thing we did earlier. As you can see, I'm trying to drag this as much as I can, because like I've explained that earlier, we don't want this closure to start folding. It is very important because it's the beauty of your wig, and I really just want you guys to really pay attention to this part. So once we are done doing this, we are going to be done with the front, and then we can start fixing in the back of the wig. And for the back of the wig, I'm going to just start sewing from the base, and every time I sew, I always want to tie twice, okay? And you want to make sure your stitches are like small, they're not so wide, because when it's really wide, it makes the wig loose fast, okay? It doesn't last long. So you can see my stitches are a bit closer, and I've just turned to the other side. So I'm going to just keep turning from left to right, and that's how I'm going to make this wig. I'll sew to one end, then I'll turn to the other end and continue sewing. And there's a video on how to sew your wig onto your cap, an introductory video. If you don't know how to do this, you need to go back and watch that video, okay guys? So it's time for me to start sewing the second bundle of my wig, and you can see that I'm leaving as much space as possible, because you don't want to exhaust all your hair at the back. You want to be sure that you have enough hair to last you till the end of this wig. So you want to give some spaces, at least about an inch every time you turn. And as you can see, I'm going in form of like a U shape, and getting to the front, I'm beginning to double my hair, because I really want, not really the front, like the middle part there, from the middle to a little bit close to the front. I'm doubling my hair because I want that part to have volume. And even when you are doubling your hair, you want to make sure you still have like a few more hair that you're going to use to complete this wig. Okay, so it's all about just looking at your weave on and looking at your wig and trying to calculate, if it's going to be enough to get to the front, because I wouldn't want something that you have to now go back and lose the back of the hair to complete the front of the wig. Okay, so I'm doubling my weft here, and you can see that I'm getting to the front. I decided to single it out because now I notice that my weave on is not as much as before. So it's all about you and how much weave on you have. Okay, so when you're making your wigs, if you don't have so much weave on, you can start by using one strand of hair at the back. Then when you get to the middle, you can double it, and when you get to the top, you can reduce it again. But if you have enough, you can double it all the way from the back to the front. So I hope you guys understand. So now what I'm going to do is I want to sew the front, the part that is close to the frontal or closure, and I really want you guys to see how I'm going to go about this. So I'm beginning to tie the next thread I'll be using for this, and I want you guys to see how this is going to work. So I'm going to insert my needle into the weft of my weave on. You can see that I already cut out a weave on that will cover from the one end of the closure to the other end. So I put my needle at that point there, at the beginning there, you can see, and I've tied it, I secured it out. Then I'm going to put the needle through the weave on I'm holding inside the weft. Okay, and now I'm going to lay it at that point that is very close to the closure. And I want you guys to pay attention at this point, because these are the things that are going to define your closure wig and make it look really professional. Now I'm going to be sewing my weave on and the end of my closure. We are going to see this in detail very soon. I will go under my weave on, then I'll go under the tip of my closure before I tie. So in other words, I'm sewing the hair and the closure together. But one thing you're not going to do is you make sure the weft of your weave on does not climb the closure. Okay, they just have to be like close to each other, but it should not climb the closure, because if it climbs it, by the time you wear your wig, that part is going to look really bulky. Okay, so just pay attention to this, and you guys are going to see how I'm doing this. So I'm putting my needle through the weave on into the closure, then I'll tie it twice. Okay, and I'm trying to use my hand to demarcate it so that the weave on does not climb the end of the closure. So you guys can see this clearly now. I'm putting it through the weave on into the tip of the closure, and I'm tying. As I'm tying, I'm making sure that it is not on top of the closure. Look at it very closely. You can see that it is not on top of the closure. It is just next to it, not on top of it. So this part is really, really, really important. I think this part, apart from fixing your closure, this part is another part that you need to pay attention to, because you do not want that part of your hair to look messed up. So I'm done fixing that, and my hair is complete. So I turn this upside down, and I'm going to sew that closure again from the back to secure it very well and very firmly. So I'm just going to sew it all the way to the end. Once I'm done doing that, it's going to be time for us to cut out the wig under the closure, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just cutting out the wig under the closure. I'm not cutting the closure, and I'm not making it close to the sewing. as you can see, I still left out some part. Now it's time to fix our elastic band, and for this elastic band you're just going to get the measurement by dragging it on your head and making sure that it's the size of the elastic band you need from one side of your head to the other side of your head. Just imagine where the closure is going to be on your head, or better still, you can wear the wig, then drag the elastic band from the end of one closure to the other end, then cut it. Make sure you drag it really well so that before you cut it. Now I'm sewing it to one side, and when you are sewing, you want to make sure you attach it to the closure itself, because this elastic band is going to make your wig secure. 1, 2, it's going to stretch out your closure so that it is placed like firmly on your head, and it looks very straight and well laid. So you want to make sure you sew it alongside with the closure, not just on the wig cap, but make sure you sew the closure to it. So as you guys can see, that's how it looks like. And now I'm going to sew it to the other side. I'm going to be turning this to the other side, and I'll sew it all the way to the other side. So now I'm pretty much doing the same thing on this side. I'm sewing it, and I'm making sure I'm attaching the closure itself to my elastic band so that when I put this on, it's going to stretch out really well. And I think we are getting to the end of this wig. I love this wig. It's my favorite kind of wig. The closure wig is very nice. So this is how it's going to be, like really firmly. Okay, you can see how it is. So next, I want to work on the pattern, and I want to give it a very nice look. So I'm going to be using my foundation. This wig is for a dark person, so I'm using my foundation. If you're light, you use your foundation or your concealer, and I'm going to just apply that in the center of the wig, okay, so that when you put this on, it looks like your wig hair, and it looks really nice. The shade of the net doesn't look different from your skin color, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and just apply that. So once you are done, you want to make sure you cut out the excess net at the beginning of the closure. You're not going to wear it with that, of course, so you're going to cut it out with scissors, and then you are done. So this is the wig we made. It's really beautiful, and if you're just learning how to make this for the first time, I can't wait for you guys to show me what you all did. I'm looking forward to your own wigs, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.